Hey Yoga Mamas. So this week I wanted to talk about yoga for your toes. Not any particular yoga pose, but how we can bring more attention down into our toes, get some strength and flexibility there, and really just like rooting down into our feet. On my blog, I talk a lot this month about connection, and so our feet and our toes are our primary way of connecting with the ground below us. So that's our foundation, right? If we can't connect there, everything above our feet is just kind of wonky. So let's think about toes. In my post, I talk about broken toe pose, which is kind of sitting, kneeling with all 10 toes tucked under. And that's one way to stretch the toes. For a lot of people, this is actually kind of hard. So if that's you, you don't have to sit on your heels. You can go up and just stretch your toes for a bit and then kind of tap them in. So if you're going to stretch your toes that way, it's always nice to stretch them, pointing them. That's the other way, in Virasana. So this is Virasana, traditional yoga pose. So you can see it's with the toes pointing back, straight back, or the toes can kind of point towards each other a bit. Okay, so that's sort of akin to doing a little flex and point. Another way to connect with our toes is just to spread the toes. So kind of practice that. For some people, it's really hard to get those toes apart, especially if you wear shoes a lot. You might have to use your hands or your fingers in between toes to kind of separate them, right? And maybe get to that point eventually where you can just do it without your hands. So shake the toes out. A simple way to connect with your toes and your feet is just to come into standing pose and shift your weight side to side. And forward and back especially. When you go forward and back, you feel how the toes really support you and keep you grounded. I recommend when you do that though, notice everything up above that. Maybe bend the knees a little. Sometimes it's easy to lock your knees or kind of do weird stuff with your hips. Bend your knees a little and just kind of forward and back. Everything in the upper body is relaxed, and just see how your toes support you. All right, so then when you're bringing this all into yoga poses, especially standing poses, I think of crescent pose. Sorry, someday I'll use my real camcorder and then you'll get a better view. Here. Just not finding the time for that. All right, barely finding the time to get this video up. So, we do crescent pose, right? From this angle, you got that, probably your left foot forward or your right foot forward if you're mirroring me. If I pivot, I'll do the other side, and you can see it's just the hips straight on. And what I got there is my toes tucking. Very similar to our broken toe pose that I just showed you. Right, sitting on the heels, all 10 toes tucked. You might have to help that little one. Same position, but in your crescent pose, you can even put the heel against the wall, trying to get the heel above the ball of the foot. If that doesn't feel good, you can have a little less intense stretch like that. You can move it around a little, switch to the other side. Here's another slightly different view of that same stretch on my other foot. Cool. So, different ways to give your toes some love, activate them, stretch them, strengthen them. And then last but not least is just a little foot massage. So this can be done with or without oil and just kind of, okay, watch TV, do whatever you want. Just a little tactile exploration, massage, stretching on your toes and on your feet. So, I know it's not a full yoga session, but these little things help us stay grounded, connected to our bodies, to the earth, maybe to our breath. Take a little time, bring some love down in your feet, and I hope you enjoy that. Take care.